Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is just getting freaking silly. And I like it. This guy seems like a nice guy telling us what's up.
Because they were based on some rather serious consideration back and forth. Some may look at them and say they're going to be really inconvenient for people. Some will look and say, well, maybe we've gone a little bit too far.
You can never go too far with these restrictions.
They were well thought out. And
they're well thought out. They just didn't, just decide, hey, let's just start putting these restrictions in.
The thing that I want to reemphasize, and I'll say it over and over again.
Yes, exactly. He wants to reemphasize this by saying it over and over again.
When you're dealing with an emerging infectious diseases outbreak.
Boom. Yes, I'm with you.
You are always behind where you think you are.
You're behind where you think you are. That's it. That's exactly. You think you're here, but you're there.
If you think that today reflects where you really are, that's not word speak. It means if you think you're here, you're really here. Because
exactly. That's what I think about all you guys. You guys think you're here, but really you're over here. Big Giant Cursor knows. You think you're freaking here, but you're really over fucking here, right? And we're all like, with our mouths open, like, where are you?
Because you're only getting the results. Therefore, it will.
Yeah, you're getting the results, so you're not even where you are today. You're where you were yesterday, or where you won't be tomorrow.
Always seem that the best way to address it would to be doing something that looks like it might be an overreaction.
Exactly. That's why this makes sense now. All these things that I thought were overreactions are because you're not where you were when you were yesterday, when you aren't going to be tomorrow, where you were the other day, and where they don't even know where they are.
It isn't an overreaction.
It's
a reaction that we feel is commensurate, which is actually going on in reality. So
wow, that's some really, where's JoJo when you need him?
Take a look at the guidelines, read them carefully, and we hope that the people of the United States will take...
Look at Trump. Watch Trump's.
Take them very seriously, because they will fail if people don't adhere to them. We have to have, as a whole country, cooperate and collaborate to make sure these get done.
Yes, that's what I see here is a bunch of collaborators. Here we are. You know what? This guy's laying it on the line. They're a bunch of collaborators. So this dude's about to ask Trump this great question. Let's just break in and see what Trump has to say.
We haven't made that decision.
Mr. President, I ask you, doctors and nurses in this country are telling us across the board that they're terrified of this virus, of the fact that they might get it, of the fact that they might take it home to their families. What?
Exactly. Doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals are terrified. Across the board, every one of them is terrified of this virus, and that what might happen if they get in contact with sick people, like they never expected this sort of a thing, like firemen. You know how firemen are terrified of fires, right? You know how dolphins are terrified of water, right? This guy, let's hear him say it again. This is just important right here. This guy's breaking the mold.
They're terrified of this virus, of the fact that they might get it, of the fact that they might take it home to their families. What can you say to assure...
Exactly. What can you say to assure these doctors that if they go out and do their fucking jobs, which is to work with sick people, which they knew coming into it, it's just getting stupid. How dare these sick people go to these hospitals and want these doctors and nurses to take care of them? Like, what's going on in the world today with Trump? What do you got to say? How can you assure us that these doctors, that train all their lives and have the title of doctor, how can you assure them that they won't have to work with sick people, right? And run the risk of being infected by sick people? Tell us, Trump, what do you got to say to that?
Your healthcare providers in this country that the federal government is doing something today to ensure that they get personal protective equipment to protect themselves and their family.
Well, I think...
Yeah, those fancy masks that people are wearing. Like, I just went to the grocery store and people are wearing those masks that Chinese people wear all the time, right? when it's supposed to be something that it's not airborne.
The federal government's doing everything that we can possibly do. We made some very good early decisions by keeping people out, by keeping countries out, certain countries.
Yeah, that's not answering the question. What about the healthcare professionals, Trump? Don't avoid the powerful question here. How can you prevent these healthcare professionals from dealing with sick people?
Where the infection was very immense. I notice a lot of people are talking about South Korea because they've done a good job on one side, but on the other side, tremendous problems at the...
Look, he's not answering this guy's pertinent question. You have doctors and healthcare professionals that don't want to go to work, but there's fucking sick people there. There's sick people, like firefighters who don't want to go to work because, there's fire. Like, it's just, I don't, it's like a chef who has to go to work and work with food. Like, they're all terrified. The chef's terrified of food, the firefighter's terrified of fire, and the doctor's terrified of getting sick from his patient. He's panicked about this, Trump, and this guy just wants a freaking answer, and you won't give it to him, Trump.
The beginning, they had tremendous problems and great numbers of death. I think that we've done a fantastic job from just about every standpoint. With that being said, you look, no matter where you look, this is something, it's an invisible enemy.
It's exactly, invisible enemy.
And but we are speaking all the time, not only with the people, but also the professional people, the nurses, the doctors.
Yes, they're speaking. Who's we, and what speaking are you doing with these professionals?
They have been doing a fantastic job. We are also working very much on getting them the kind of equipment that they need. And for the most part, they either have it or they will be getting it. But
so they either have it or they're going to get it. That's, or they will never get it. One of those three things is going to happen. They either have it right now, they're going to get it, or they're never ever going to get it. I'm sure it's going to be one of those three things. I'm not sure which one. Maybe the third one. I don't know.
Remember this, we want the governors, we want the mayors, we want them locally, from a local standpoint, because it can go quicker. We want them to work. And we had a great talk with the governors today. I think it was a really great talk.
Those governors, they're good talkers. He had a, All right. It's getting silly out there, folks. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the apocalypse. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.